took them up and I didn't turn
No,
it
I didn't
in.
take them up, but I'd like to look at them, okay? I guess I'm starting to record. We'll wait to Safe probably will be here. Jessica, how do you think it went last night?
My first couple were a mess, but after that, it was fine until the computer stopped working.
I don't appreciate that one fellow wanting us to do his taxes and do them right because he owes $100. He don't want to file them.
Well, he looked at me and he was like, "I'm not really sure what this means, but I wrote this down just in case." And like he was just very vague about everything because I was trying to ask him specific questions like, did you rent any of your equipment? Did you take out specific stuff for it? Did you do this? And he's like,
Well,
I
you
don't.
see, at first he had about 20 receipts for gas and about 20 receipts for repairs and some receipts. I said, we're not going to take time to add those up. I said, that's something you should have had done. I said, now if you want to take time to add them up, we'll start on your personal. So we did all that, wasted time with him. We did a business return, and he has to pay Social Security.
Yeah, I had no idea like where to put any of his stuff because he had nothing labeled at all.
Well, you just have to find a spot on that Schedule C. If you can't find a spot, you put it under other.
Okay.
Uh, there's a spot for taxes, there's a spot for salaries, there's different spots, but
And then when I'm halfway through it, he mentions, I did get 2 licenses.
well, he also, I don't think I made that much. Well, that's the statements they gave him, and he paid taxes on it, so he made that much. It's his documentation. Just file me without turning into business income. Okay, on the ethical side,
We cannot do that now.
we can't, if we know that he has business income, we can't, we can't. And if somebody is trying to claim somebody they shouldn't, ethical, we should tell them and not do it. So, William should have been in there preparing taxes instead of taking governmental accounting. He should have been in taxes too. You'll have to do all that next year, won't you, William? Jessica has a problem that she thinks, and I think, and we all think that we should look at. And I think we tore it off. What problem is that, Jessica?
6.
Problem 6. I'm trying to see if Robert got it here. I don't know. Trying to look for Robert's answer. All right, problem number 6 that you all tore out and took home. I think all of you have that, don't you? Determine the amount of underapplied overhead. Prepare projected income statements using variable absorption. Now, I wasn't interested in part 3, but I'm really interested in part 2, and I was interested in part 1.
You only told us to do one for this one.
Determine the amount of under and overapplied overhead?
Yeah.
Oh, if you took it home, but on the test, I want you to do both. Uh, trying to look at Robert's here and see what he's got, but I can't. That was number 6. Jessica? This was Roberts, I guess. Do you remember what we took 2 points off for right there? I don't.
He has the wrong total, I think.
Yeah, that could be it. Okay. Okay now, folks, I'm going to show you real quick. I guess I'm recording out there today. Now, personally, I don't work tomorrow, and I'd like to see a good snow. I have not had a good snow. I like to see a good 6, 7 inch snow. But not to worry people on the road either, though. Okay, absorption and variable costing. I do put some importance on that. And maybe later we'll revisit that variable costing in a way that we look at contribution margin and we look at markups or something of that nature. Maybe we'll visit again. But this was Robert's paper. And I don't know if he finished this problem right here or not.
Yeah.
He did, this
He's
part.
gotta go
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Now, variable costing is you do what? You take out all variable factoring, all variable selling, all variable administration. And that gives you contribution margin. That's why we'll visit that later. And then we take out fixed cost and we get operating income. And he got 209 here. Don't know if that's the right answer or not.
809. And that's what I got.
Was that correct? 809. Okay. Now, should we get the same answer by some other method? All right. Now, I don't know where he missed out here. Can you all tell where he missed it? Sales minus cost of goods sold gives gross profit minus selling expense gives operating net income.
He didn't put in his variable.
The what?
He didn't do any variable on that one.
Yeah, but he didn't have to do it. Something don't make sense here. You do not take out fixed overhead down here. He should have stopped right here. Now what's your answer up here?
809.
But he should have stopped right there. You take sales minus cost of goods sold gives you gross profit. Was there any administrative expenses? Well, he's got both of them there, don't he? Right here is where he should have stopped. You don't go down there and take out fixed overhead. That fixed overhead is up here in your cost of goods sold along with materials and labor. That's your production cost that goes into your cost of goods sold. And you cannot put it on an income statement. It don't belong. So, yeah, I took off 2 points. Should have took off more. But anyway, it's okay. He made a good grade. Can you all figure out why it don't match? Why have I got...
He didn't take out any variable expenses and absorption costing. He didn't take out any of them.
Now how much were the variable expenses? They look like there are a lot up here. Is that the variable cost?
I guess. That's just what it looks like down there is what went wrong.
This is probably the right answer, right? All of you got that? Probably variable cost, I don't know which one, but not that much so. I'm looking for 809 from 864. I'm looking for 55,000. I think I'm looking for somewhere around 55,000. Was there an amount there of that nature? But cost of goods sold has both in it. All right. Now, Jessica said I asked you all to do the first part. What was the first part?
Just do the under and over applied fixed using variable and absorption.
Did you come up with an answer?
What Robbie got, 0 and 27.5.
Now, when y'all took this home, does that look good to you, Alexandra? 0 and 27.5? All right, William, did you get a look at it? Did you get those answers? All right. Under variable costing, why is there no over/under applied? Because it's a variable dollar amount anyway, I guess, and it's hard to. All right, but here this being predetermined. All right, I won't go back and look at specifics, but Jessica, you and William, Faith, how about you? Did you come up, and Robert? That's 3 out of 5 that got the same answer.
I don't know if I got that answer.
Now,
I got one of the same answers.
all right. But we're not gonna labor on, you can keep that part of the test, I just wanted to plain say it with you. Now we are on process costing. Big part of process costing is equivalent units. And equivalent units are not that hard, and we should never get confused on it. And we may have the other day. I don't think this book does a great job. So I'm going to give you an example. I want to see what you remember from the other day. Remember, there's such things as started, there's such things as completed, and there's such things as transferred out, and started and completed, what have you. But if I give you a beginning inventory, and a started, and an ending inventory, now you should be able to do both methods. I want you to do the weighted average method first. All right, now beginning inventory is 10,000 units, 1/4 completed. But we started 150,000 units, and we have ending inventory of 15,000 units, 1/3 completed. Now, can you find me the equivalent units under the weighted average method? Let me see what you understand about the weighted average method. Anybody got an answer? Jessica?
I don't think mine's right.
It may be.
140.
I said I don't like the way the answer came out because it may be already up here. William, what'd you get?
I'm not sure yet.
Safe?
Not sure. I do this.
Alexander?
I'm not sure if it's right, but I got 155,000.
Okay, I had got that, but then I remembered it's, you take for equivalent units, it's transferred out minus the ending inventory.
Transferred out, yes.
And you're transferred out.
And your ended inventory, that's all I want.
155.
How many did we transfer out?
155.
How do you figure that? How many did we have to account for?
160,
And how many do I still have left?
15,
So how many could I transfer out?
145. But
Exactly.
It's a third completed.
What?
But that one's a third completed.
I know, we're not finished. Transferred out, 145 times 1. And then 15,000 times 1/3. That gives you 150,000, don't it? 150,000 should have been your answer. I don't like that because there's a number up
I
there.
thought it was transferred out minus ending inventory.
Add it.
Added.
You gotta add it. Alright, so let's keep that in mind. Now, let me show you a little something else up here. And the book goes on and on about it. It says, what units do I have? I've got 10, right? Plus I'm starting 150. The units I've got to account for if I'm a production supervisor is 160. Now, where do those 160 go? How many was transferred out? And how many is in the ending inventory? That's where the 160 went and came from. Now keep that in mind. This weighted average is an easy method. Okay, I'm going to give you another one until at least 3 out of 4 of you get this. And I may give it to you in a different way. I could go ahead and give you TO, but I'm not going to. I could go ahead and give you started, which I just did. But I'm going to give you started and completed. Same method, weighted average. %, complete. Last period. Started and finished, or started and completed. And ending inventory, 30,000, 2/3 complete. Now see if you can give me the weighted average under those conditions. Got an answer, Jess? I hope it can be worked.
Because I know you have to do something with the 2/3 to the started and finished. Right.
Now up here on the weighted average, we don't do anything, do we?
Because you have to account for how many of the started.
Tell me how many units I transferred out.
Oh, I don't know.
Would that be, 140?
Say, you subtract instead of adding.
180.
Yeah. Why?
Okay, you started and finished 160, and then
You're definitely going to finish the beginning inventory, aren't you?
yes.
So let's throw in the beginning inventory that we finished with these 160 we started and finished, and let's transfer out 180.
Yeah.
All right. And then let's take 2/3 of 30, and that's how much?
20,000.
20? So your equivalent units is how much? 200. See, Jessica, how you have to analyze all this to get transferred out. No matter how I give it to you, you got to get TO. Okay? All right. But here, I want to see, wonder how many units. All right, I started with 20,000 units. Now I have 160,000 units started and finished. How many did I start? I had to start these 30. So I must have started 190. All right, begin an inventory and started. Let's see if this equals. That's 110, right?
210.
210. All right, now what went with that 210? See, here's where I'm getting something wrong. Okay, we transferred out how many? How many did I tell you we transferred out?
180.
And how many do I have in the ending inventory? That's another way of getting the 210. Now, if you make sure of what, all right, we started 190. How do I know? Because I completed 160 of those 190, and I left 30 of them sticking around. Now, after 2 times, let's see how you can do. One more try, folks, and I'm going to move on to FIFO. Now, when you're doing these problems, 60% can be listed as 3/5 or 60% or whatever, okay? You know that. So here's your beginning inventory. Now that's complete and complete. See what you can do with that weighted average. I'm giving that to you all 3 ways now. You'll be getting better at it. Now, how many units do I have to account for?
150.
How much?
200.
All right, I've got 60 and 140. I've got to account for 200, don't I? Now, if I've still got 50,
Transferred out.
where did 150 go? Transferred out. So transferred out is equal to 150,000. And ending inventory is 40% of 50, which is 20, right? And Jessica, it sounds like you may have gotten 170,000. Good. Say, did you get it?
Yes.
Did you get it though?
We
William?
got the transferred out.
We have the transfers out.
All right. Alexander?
You giving us started and completed in the middle is what throws me. I don't
Yeah,
know
see,
why.
well, I gave you started, And in one problem, I gave you
Started it completely.
transferred out, and one I got started and finished. So there's 3 ways I can give you that middle number.
Yeah, started and finished.
Yeah,
First
okay.
up.
All right, it's up to you to find. All right, now that was weighted average, folks. Seth, how do you say your name proper?
Seth.
Seth. Yeah, Sarah keeps telling me that it's not Seth, it's Seth. So I get it there. That's right. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I have been corrected.
Yeah.
But I figured it's just you guys.
Yeah, Sarah, she tries to get text on things. But she's volunteering her time and I really appreciate it. But she can get fussy sometimes too. But the only person I got upset last night was with this man that come in and wanted us to do his return, blah, blah. Then there was another return we did, and they couldn't hardly believe it. They didn't have to file. All the man and wife had was Social Security. It was not taxable.
With the heat pump. That was
Huh?
mine too.
Was that yours too? So you got some good ones, didn't you?
They argued with me over that heat pump for, I know, 20 minutes.
All right, FIFO, right? Now, after we practice this method 2 times, we're going to do some exercises on FIFO and average. Make sure you got a handle on them. Now, FIFO, the beginning inventory, is important. And you want started and finished. And you want ending inventory taken into account. Well, if I give you this figure here, you got it made on that, how I'm wording it this time. You started and finished 100. You had beginning inventory of 20. You had ending inventory of 10. All right, this 20 was 60% finished. And this ending inventory was 45% finished. Now, under FIFO, you can find me that real quick because I'm giving you half the answer. All right, 6% of 20 is what? 12,000?
Yes.
And then I add in the 100, right? And then I add in 4,500. And my final answer is,
So you add everything.
you always add. Whoa, I'm wrong. Hold it, I'm wrong.
Don't you subtract ending inventory?
No. No, I'm wrong. This percent was completed in March, in January. We're in February now.
So you take 40%.
You take 40. So I should have put down 8,000 here. You are never subtracted in this format right here. You add them. Always add them. And then 45% is completed this period. But up here, remember that it's 40%.
So it's 112,500.
112.5. All right. Now you're going to let that worry you if I change this center part.
Yes, it will.
All right, I'm going to leave the rest of it the same. Now it's going to be a different answer because I'm not putting down a number that will work out to 112.5. I'm going to give you started 130,000 units. Now, work it.
Mr. Lillis has to go early today.
They had a test.
How come y'all getting out so early, Alicia? Brooke? We must finish it real quick.
Old, it's harder for me. I caught it for 20 minutes straight last night.
What? Real quick. Oh, it does, don't it? No, if you pass it, you know it. Has anybody got that important transferred out deal? Started and finished? I mean, started and finished is what I want you to have. You're making a mountain out of a molehill.
142.5.
Is that your final answer? We'll see. Jessica, how many did we start?
130.
Your answer can't be bigger than that, can it? Out of those 130 we started, how many do we still have in the back room working on them?
40. Well,
10. So how many of these were started and finished?
140.
No. All right. How can I start with 130,000 units? How can I start with 130? Huh?
120.
Right. Get you to thinking in the right way. 120.
So you do subtract this time. This, okay.
Well, yeah, when you're working the problem, yeah, if you start 130 and you got 10 of them left, how many did you start and finish? 120. Right? Now, but before I go on, let's do a couple calculations. Now, I want you to look at this. How many did I have in beginning inventory? 20, right? Now, how many did I start? That's 150. Now, how many do I have in ending inventory?
10.
That's got to be 150. So how many did I transfer out if I were doing the weighted average method?
140.
Exactly right. Okay. So here is your units, and units to accounted for would be 150. Now, let's do this. Now I can put in the S and the F. How many units? Was it 120? All right, now we should be able to put in some answers. Beginning inventory, what percent of 20?
40%.
That'd be 8,000. 120. What's 45% of 10?
4,500.
Seth, I don't know if that's going to equal your answer or not. It's 132,500. Is that what you had? Or did you have 142?
142.
You were close. Jessica, did you get this? 132,500? Amen. You too, William? A double amen. Alexander? A triple amen. Safe almost. All right. Now, I think we can safely move on. I don't know how the book, well, I do know. I was trying to follow the book yesterday and got lost myself. So if I get lost in something I've done for years, it's easy for you to look at the book and get lost. So that's why I went over those two today. Why is it important to cover those two so much? If we don't get to equivalent units, we missed the whole production summary. We missed a unit cost, we missed the cost to be accounted for or accounted for. So we must. Now that's chapter 6, I wanna look at the end of the chapter. And we're gonna practice a couple little items. And let's see how good we are. Um, all right, I not liking, let me go back, exercise 15. All right, I want you to do that by both methods. Exercise 15, try it first by the weighted average method, and then try it by the FIFO method. You know, the other day, when you were coming into my account card, and the young ladies were talking about somebody cheating. It's unfair for somebody to work their butts off and come to class every day, do the homework, and somebody never does anything to beat them. Isn't that unfair? Well, that makes me mad. But anyway, this person that I suspected, 2 faculty members in a meeting yesterday
Brought it up as well.
brought it up as well as the same person. So I made an announcement. I said, I don't want to catch you like cheating, but if you cheat next time, I will. I said, I don't want to catch you this, I want to give them a chance. I said, if I have to take the telephone, put them up here, if I have to make up an individual test ball, if I have to sit beside of you, you're not going to cheat next time. I'd like to know how they did it. It has to be some way that you're talking about.
What chapter is this from?
5, but I don't think we can do 15.
Something different than, I guess.
When it says completed, does that mean started and completed?
No, not at all. That's just it, William. That's why I tried to throw it at you. Some different ways. Completed 608. So you'd have to subtract that beginning inventory because we completed those too. So
What are we on?
15. We would have to subtract 24 from 608 to get started and completed. You don't need that yet until you do FIFO.
Is this chapter 5?
No, chapter 6.
Jessica, we're on page 223, dear, number 15. I don't know how I might have misled you, but I'm good at that.
That makes a lot more sense.
Say how many tax returns.
Say in the ballpark of like 12, 13.
let you know.
No, I'm in the low double digits.
Low double, how about you? Should be approaching 20.
Mine said 23.
Really? Too fast for us. Okay, Justin. Let's say you do 60 return, 45 returns which are necessary, 5 returns are required for the class, that's 50, right? You do 10 extra returns, that will raise your class letter grade by 11.
For this one.
If you had an 80 average, that brings you up to a 98. So you can never do too many, okay?
So if I do an extra 20, that's 2 letter grades, right?
Well, I may have to limit that. Williams, you got that state?
Sorry.
Okay, guys, we're going to look at that my way, then I'm going to show you the solution, at least to give you confidence that we're right, or correct you if we're wrong. Now, we got beginning inventory, 24,000. You can set it up the same way we've been setting it up in class. All right, you've got, what's your ending inventory? Do you have to find it?
Yeah, I think you have to calculate it.
All right, so we got to find what's transferred out then. Okay. We started 24. We had 24. We started 600. So we got to account for 624. Okay. I'm going to go down here and do some add. We had 24 and we started 600. Now, what did we do with this 624? You either transferred them out or they're in ending inventory. One of the two. But they didn't give you, it says completed during September. 608. Well, you completed 608, is that right? That includes this 24. All right, that includes that 24. So started and finished will be something different. So how many did you transfer out? You complete them. What do you do with them when you complete them? Exactly. So we've got 608 transferred out. Well, now what does that leave us in inventory? If we transferred out 608 and we had 624 to account for, how many is in inventory? I'd like to say 16. So we had to find something new this time. Right? Now we don't worry about beginning inventory, do we? Completed and transferred out, we multiply by 1. Now how about this ending inventory? What did it say about it?
65% working.
65%? What is 65% of 16,000?
10,400.
How much?
10,400.
608 plus 10,4. Would that make 618,4? Huh? All right. When Seth said that number, I thought he was going to say good buddy. You never did fool with CB, did you, Seth? It was always good buddy. I'm gonna try to show you a solution to that problem. Let's see it their way. Now, I've got cost accounting solutions. There we go. Chapter 6 or 5? 6. And this is number 15. All right, we better have got the right answer. Okay. Beginning and started to account for, completed, transferred out, that's C and T, completed and transferred, and the ending work in process 16. If we had to find unit started and finished, it would have been the 608 minus the 24. So, beginning work in process for direct materials and for conversion. Started and completed for direct materials and conversion. Ending inventory 65% complete of 16,000. All right, but now
They got the 618 for.
the what?
They got the 618 for like we did.
Right. Do we take 16,000 times what? 65%? Check that out again. How much is that?
10,000.
All right, so on conversion costs, we're good. 618.4. So did all of you get that? If you did, then our little beginning of the class paid off. All right, now, what was the reading here? All materials were started at the beginning of the process. So those were 100% complete. And those, I don't see how they're getting those. That should have been put in last period. But anyway, for direct materials, it's 624. I'm dealing with the overall and the normal situation we're going to deal with. Now, try the same problem. FIFO. Different answer, probably. Just try the same problem, FIFO. Got an answer, William? What you got?
I got 6076.
6076. Anybody else got an answer?
I had 631.6.
You have 631? All right. Guys, have you got an answer yet?
But I do see how he got 6076.
The what?
So, but I also got 6076. The different way I did it.
Here's your answer on the screen. Because this is problem number 18, right? Alright. Beginning inventory times 45% is 13.2. Now you put no materials in here because the materials was put last period. Now you put all materials in started and completed and in inventory. That's what you started, 600,000. Alright, so don't worry about materials yet. Alright, so beginning inventory times 45%, started and completed 584, ending inventory times 65% is 6076. Now William got it, Jessica sees it. You see it, say? I do, Alexander. Okay. If you don't get it, you at least see it. Now, seeing it and understanding it might be two different things. Hopefully you understand it. All right. So you've got to practice on this. I think I signed a few for today, didn't I? Did I sign anything for today? We're not going to go over them. What were they?
I did chapter 5.
Bless your heart. That's on activity base, so we're skipping that for the time being. But what problems are you supposed to have on chapter 6?
36, 38, 40, and 46.
All right. Those are still okay for Monday. You got a chance to redeem yourself. 42, the last one.
No, 36, 38, and 40. And 46 is a bonus.
All right. That's still the same assignment for Monday. But I need you to look back at the end of the chapter. Now we're going to look at standard cost in this chapter. But I want you to look at Appendix 3 on page 213 right now. I don't think this book does enough with spoilage and scrap. Now scrap you're going to sell outright. You're going to debit cash, but what are you going to credit? If you sell your scrap, that should reduce your cost of goods sold. And I would credit cost of goods sold and debit cash. Now, you might put scrap in an inventory, and you want to credit scrap, debit, scrap, inventory, and credit cost of goods sold. Then when you sell it, you want to debit cash and credit scrap inventory. Now that's the scrap that they're not even talking about. Spoilage. All right, you've heard of refurbished. You've heard of factory outlets where they got a flaw. Have any of y'all ever been to those factory outlets down in Pigeon Forge? You've been to that, what's the one called? The Oaks or something. But now, Jessica, I find out, now I don't think they're seconds, but they're supposed to be discounted. But stuff I find in that factory outlet, I can usually get at Belk cheaper when Belk has their sales. So, and Belk gives you those Belky bucks. Have you heard the Belky